Good afternoon, happy crafters. How are you all? Thank you for joining me, Toni, live in my studio here in Wakefield. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm a guest presenter over on Create and Craft, and I demonstrate dyes, ink, stamps, painting, lots of little techniques that you can utilise at home with your crafty stash, whether it be with my products or anybody else's products. If you're watching on Facebook, that's amazing. Please don't forget to drop a comment in the comment box below. This entitles you to be put in for a chance to win one of our cards that we make here live in the studio. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button. This enables you to have notifications when I'm posting live studios, which are twice a week now, which is amazing. Please share with all your friends. This encourages everybody to inspire everybody, pick up some new techniques, and maybe pick up some of your stash that you've not touched for a long time, that maybe you've bought from us. Let's get it back out. Or maybe you've got a lot of stash that you just don't utilise. The inspiration you get from the studio, you might be able to incorporate in other people's products, so that's also amazing. So in today's studio, we are going to talk about and demonstrate the new artistic mount collection, which goes live tomorrow on Create and Craft at 8 AM in the morning. I'm so excited about this. We did our first collection a couple of months ago, and it was amazing. It's probably one of our best selling products. So this is a continuation of that one. This is collection 2, and you've got some ornate shapes in here, so I know you're going to love them. Unfortunately, I can't show you any finished samples. They've all gone to TV for photography, but you'll be able to see them on the live show tomorrow, but you'll still be able to pick up some inspiration right here, right now. So I'm just going to talk you through the products that are going to be on the show. So we have 6 stamps and 6 coordinating dies, and as with our last artistic mount, you will notice there are no sentiments, and that's because over the last 12 months we have done nothing but sentiments. So I know if you buy these, or if you've bought our products before, you will have sentiments to go in the centres of these frames, or somebody's sentiments. I wanted to pack it out really with the frames and the florals, so that you get quite a big image. The great thing about these is these are all floral based. Collection 1 was all foliage, but you can mix them both together and make some beautiful bouquets that look amazing, and that's what I'm going to show you tomorrow, mixing them both up. So we're going to just quick flick of what's in the show tomorrow. So we have this one here, and this is quite ornate, but the great thing about these is you get your floral element, and I've drawn it in such a way that it's going to creep around the shape of the frame. I haven't just thrown an image in there. It's actually been created for this frame. You can swap them around if you want to, but I know that if somebody just buys one set, they have what they need to create a beautiful image. So you have this one, and then you have the coordinating die. So the outline for around the flowers, and the nesting dies. So basically I'll just show you inside. So see how there? So you get quite a lot of metal there. You get your nesting dies, which is 4 of, so you can create dimension on your cards. Then you get your foliage outline dies as well. You're going to be able to create so much with these. So that's number 1. So just set that one aside. Then we've got this beautiful one here with the daisies. Can you see there? And then you get the little elements and the leaves, and this is quite a large frame, is this one. You also get your coordinating die, and again this is a nesting one, and I think you get about 4 or 5 in there, and you get your heads and your leaves outline die. We've got this one, and this has got quite a curve on this one. That's because this one goes off to quite a point, so you get the curve on one side or both sides if you want to. And then you get your coordinating die on there as well. And then we've got this one, which is quite curly, should we say. And then you get a creeper, a 2 and a 1. And the coordinating die does exactly that. So you get your nesting dies too. Then we've got a square one. This is quite a large flourish, is this one. Great open spaces, great for your watercolours and things like that, wet in wet techniques. And then the coordinating die on there. Your nesting dies. So even if you don't use the stamp element or the outline dies for the florals, you've got your nesting element. You can use them with all your other products that you've got in your stash. And we've got this beautiful one here. So this is the smallest one of them all. And then you get your coordinating die. So you get your foliage, your bud, 1 head, 2 heads, and then your coordinating die. So let's crack on to some demonstrations then. Thank you for being patient. So I'm just going to show you 2 quick and easy demonstrations where you'll be able to instantly get these products home and just have a play. So I have a piece of white cardstock here and I have our Gossip pens. I've got yellow, the orange and the gold. Now I'm just going to create a bit of a background for myself. So I've got a brush and a little bit of water. So I'm just going to wet this cardstock. This is just normal cardstock. I'm not bothered if it pills, if it bubbles or anything, because it's going to be die cut. So I'm just going to drop the water in there. And I need to cover the majority of it because I'm going to die cut my flowers as well and my background. So I'm just going to drop some of the yellow in there. I'm just going to squeeze the pen and drop some yellow in. I'm just going to give the orange a shake. I'm just going to drop some orange into the spaces. I'm not trying to contaminate it though, I want it to be in between if we can. Giving it a real good squeeze, get some of that beautiful sparkly ink out of there. Just going to pop some yellow back on the bottom. And then with the gold, I'm just going to drop a little bit of gold in there. So it looks a bit marbled. But I'm trying not to contaminate it. So whilst it's doing its magic, I am going to dry it as quick as I can. What will happen is when you begin to dry it, the sparkle comes to life. But I don't want to push the ink around so it all blends into one. So I'm trying to keep it quite sterile if I can. I've got a little white space there, just get rid of that. Just keep twisting round till it's dry. So just wanted to make sure I got the definition in the colours so they are all separate and not. If you overwork, what will happen is the yellow will just blend into the orange and it'll just look like you've just used one colour. Just going to mop some of that colour up because there's a lot on there. You'll know when this one is dry because it'll be super sparkly. See that sparkle? No, I'll leave it as is. Right, so what we're going to do is now we're going to use our stamp and die. Let's just get a tidy station. So the one I'm going to use for this one is this one, and it's the frame 3. So I'm going to use the Stamp and Coordinating die. So what I'm going to do first off is I'm just going to grab my Eureka. Just going to pop this into the Eureka. So fingers crossed I can get all I need out of this one little sheet we've made. So I'm just going to get the stamp. I'm just going to pop the stamp onto there like so. Now make sure I get all coverage on there. I think we'll go there, that looks okay. And then we're going to use the stamp element as well. So the elements which come within, so all on there. Pop the little one on, I'm not sure if we'll use it, but I'll pop it on. Seems a shame not to. So I'm just going to hold all of that in place and I'm going to stamp it all in black. So I'll just pick up all of the stamps. I've just got VersaFine black ink. So I'm just going to ink it all up. Make sure I get nice coverage on that frame. But because I've got Eureka, it's not a great drama because we can restamp if we need to. Just make sure I get some colour on there. Give it a good hard press. Got a lovely frame. I am going to do it one more time to get it super black. I'm happy with that one, so I'll just dry that one off. And then just set this aside for a second. So I'll just grab the coordinating dies then. Just make sure I've got the large one, it helps. So I'll just grab I'm just using a snap today, that's what I have here in my studio. So I'm just going to pop my artwork onto my snap. I'm just going to secure my dies down with some low tack tape so they don't move. And I think what I'll do is we'll see if we can do them all in one pass, save time. So these leave a tiny little border around, which is a bonus. So if you're not the best liner upperer, should we say, it's not a great problem. And then the elements which come within are this one. So just get some more tape. And just line them up best you can with a nice little neat border. There we go for that one. And I have got this one as well. So I'm going to go with this one as well. Might as well do them all at the same time. I'll just pop a bit of tape on this one just to be safe. So line the die up. And then just run it through my snap and it should cut beautifully. That one off so you can see how gorgeous that is. So sparkly as well, which is a bonus. Oh, it's amazing. Look at that, it looks like an aperture on a frame. It looks really, really beautiful. So I'll just set this one aside. So I'm just going to bring my Eureka back in. Just get rid of these ones. Just give them a quick clean. Then they're all nice for telly tomorrow. Pop them back on my carrier. There we go. So I have got a sentiment from one of our earlier collections, and I'm just going to pop this one straight in the centre. Just going to hold this in place. And pop this in the centre. Make sure it's straight. And I'm going to do this one in black also. I'm just going to do it one more time, because even though it doesn't need it, I do everything twice. I'll just dry that one off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to edge around here because I want it to pop. So I just have a black pen here, and I'm just going to use the brush nib of the pen, and I'm just going to take the white off the edge of the cardstock. I don't want the awful white edge that you can see on the side. So I'm just edging. This is not necessary, but I just don't want to see any white. Just finishes it, that's all. Right, so let's get this card constructed. Just set my Eureka aside. So I have already gone ahead and taken a black top folding note card and added a white border just with a gel pen. This is just going to sit straight in the centre here. Just pop some pads on this one. This one's quite bright, is this one. I'm just sticking it on the centre there. And then obviously you could pop this on the corner, which I am going to do, and then we're going to pop the other one on the other corner just to balance it slightly. I am going to double pad because I want it slightly more raised than the actual frame itself. And this little one, get a smaller pad for this one. Again, I'm going to double pad this one. Doesn't want to play. There, and then what I have is a white gel pen, and I'm just going to pop some dots around just to get rid of the white space around our lovely frame. But they're not in any formation, I'm just killing the space that's just sat looking at us. And to make this stand out a little bit more than this, I'm just going to add a little white highlight within some of the petals, so it steps away from my frame, just makes it stand out a little. Just popping some pearls around also, just to finish it. Just make sure that's absolutely stuck, it is. So there you have a very sparkly, you can't really see on camera there, I don't think it's not picking it up very well. We have a very sparkly, bright and vibrant card. So let's move on to number 2 then. So that one's creating your own background in a sense. So let's do something different. So I'll just set that one aside. And what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to bring in another piece of white cardstock. This time I'm just going to use my gold pen. I'm just going to make sure I've got some white card. In fact, we've just used gold, so let's maybe use something different. Let's go for a red. So I'm just going to use a red. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm just going to create my own background. So I'll just make sure the ink is coming through, which it is. So I'm just going to draw some crook lines. I don't want them to be perfect, and I want them maybe to look like my son's done them. Like so. I'm just going to dry this off. Just set that aside. So just get the Eureka. Pop that in there for now. I'll just remove this one. So for the next one then we're going to use let me just check which one we are going to use, make sure I have got it. Right, so let's just grab it from here. So is this one here with this frame here? This is more square and blocky, is this one. So it's big. I think this is the biggest from the bunch, which is I would say it's encroaching on 4.5 inch at least. So as you can see there, when you place it face down onto your artwork, it's quite big. So I'm going to place that one on there like so, and try and get it. You can't really get it centralised when you've got wonky lines in the background, but it does work, and it will work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat emboss this one. So I'm just going to use my anti-static bag on here. Make sure it's completely covered in the anti-static because I don't want any gold to go anywhere other than where it needs to be. Then I'm going to use a sticky ink pad. I'm just going to ink up the area. Make sure I get lots of ink on there. You can see that's stamped okay, but I am going to go for it again. Grab a piece of I'm using a gold embossing powder. what happens is you get this beautiful gold frame. Can you see that? Super cool. So I'll just move that one out of the way, set it aside. Let's just burn this one on. So always get your gun good and hot if you can. That means you get less warp in the cardstock. When you see the powder start to change, then we will move our gun. There we go, so you can see how beautiful that frame is on there. It's absolutely beautiful. Now you could mask that off and not do the lines within if you wanted to, but I'm just trying to maybe think outside the box a little bit when it comes to using them in a different way. Tomorrow, live on set, we will be stepping back to basics and showing people how to get the most out of these initially. Then in studios throughout the course of the next few weeks, we'll be working on these, and if you bought them, then we'll do lots of techniques, masking, layering, apertures and stuff like that, so you can get the most out of them when you've spent your hard-earned money, should we say. So I need the die for this one, so let's go and get the die. So it's this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the centre out, but I'm not going to use the one. I'm going to make it, let's have a look. So on here you get your nesting dies. So you can see when you pop them inside, that's going to cut it completely out. I don't think I want that one. I think I want the next one down. Let's just see. Can we see there? I think I'm going to go for that one. So just move this out of the way. Go back to our trusted snap machine. I am just going to tack it down with some tape. So we'll put the centre one in first, hold it in place, and I'm absolutely happy I've got it where I want it. I'm going to tack it on both sides. I don't trust myself. And then when you get your outside die, the biggest of the two, it will completely cut this frame out. Can you see? So what I've done is I've given myself a thicker border by using the next one down. I haven't used the one that would just cut out the lovely frame. I'm chopping it up a little bit. So I'm making sure I get all the detail in best I can. Now just run it through my machine. And when you take all your elements out, just be mindful of the tape. You don't want to tear your frames or your artwork you've painted. So just go steady with it. So obviously you get your centre part, and you get this lovely, beautiful, decorative, candy coloured frame. It looks really, really lovely. And then you get your outline, obviously. So set these aside. And then what we're going to do now is we're just going to go back to the actual stamp set where we got our frame from. And we're going to use the floral element on there. And we're going to just do this one in black. We're not going to add any colour at all because we've got quite a busy background going on. And just get a piece of white cardstock in there. So within this set then you get the elements as in flower head, a small one and some foliage as well, but we are going to use the large one from the collection, so that's this one. And I'm just going to stamp this in black. Sorry, I'm not going to stamp it in black, I'm telling porkies. I'm going to do it in gold so it coordinates with the rest of our image. So anti-static, Versamark ink pad. Just going to do it one more time. And we'll do it in the same colour that we've done our framing so it actually matches. See how beautiful that is, it's absolutely stunning. I'll just heat this one up, heat set this one. So I'm going to leave this one absolutely white. I'm not going to colour this one. So I'll just get myself a tidy station because it's getting a little bit chaotic. So I know where I'm at with everything. Won't be a second. Oops. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start getting this card constructed. So I have my stripy centre. I'm just going to hold it in place and I have another sentiment here, and this one is to someone who is always, we did that one in the other one. Let's swap it out. I have got a different one. Yeah, I thought I had I love you on this one. So, you know, have a look in your crafty stash, see what you've got going on. They all would work. So I'm just going to stamp this in black. I'll just do that the once. It's quite easy what's happened there. So I'm just going to dry that one off in a second. I'm just going to get my heat gun. So I won't be a second, guys. We've just got a problem with the heat gun. Oh, it's working now. So let's get this card constructed then. Just set this aside. So ahead of time I've done a top folding note card and I've put some gold glitter behind there. So I could just, if wanted to, just use the frame. That would look amazing. You can put your frame back on, cover that makings, pop your frame in, raise it, put dimension within there. Use it so you haven't got the frame within the centre if you don't want to. Or with the elements that you don't use, you could pop it inside and create an aperture within there. So let's get some glue on here. Nothing seems to be working today, ladies and gents. Just one second. So I'm just going to pop the frame loosely onto the front of this card. Just make sure it just sticks. And then the gold element, I'm just going to quickly fussy cut around the large floral element that I've just heat embossed. I'm just going to show you how amazing this floral stamp set looks just in a gold embossing. So if you're not the most confident colourist in the world, it honestly does not matter. I mean, you can drop a little bit of colour in there if you want to. You're in wet techniques, you can do all those things, all the things you've been practicing. If you came to our retreat, I know a lot of you tried it for the first time. Some of you absolutely loved it. So don't, you know, put yourself under stress. It's not meant to be stressful. You go with what you like and what your style is. Don't try and be like anybody else. So can you see there? Looks really, really lovely. So I'm just going to get this one. I'm just going to pad this one. But before I put anything in place, I always have a look at how it's going to look before we actually go for it. So I would offset and pop this down. Let's just have a look where we're going with it. You could just raise it in the centre so it's raised and pop your 3D embellishment around. Pop it underneath if you wanted to. But I am going to go with my initial card. Stick to what you do best, hey, is what they say. So the gold accent at the back will just give that instant lift we need. So I'll just give these a little bit of a twist. I think I am going to pop it underneath. I'd like to still see my frame underneath. As you can see, I'm a little bit of a faffer, but there we go. So there we have two quite relatively easy cards, two completely different concepts. I've just tried to give you a little bit of an idea what you can achieve with these. Tomorrow's demonstrations will be a little bit different, should we say. So thank you all for tuning in today's live studio. I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope you've picked up maybe one little technique you might use in your crafting at home. Whatever you're doing, be safe, stay cozy, and I will speak to you all later. Take care. Bye.